When you go to hug a woman, never do this psychology tricks. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. There's a small mistake, almost invisible, that many men make when they hug a woman, and they don't even realize it. Yet in that brief moment, it quietly sends a message that something is missing, not your success or your intelligence, but your presence. The truth is, most men were never taught how to use physical contact the right way. They learned what to say, how to impress, how to act, but when it comes to something as natural as a hug, they move without awareness. And that's where everything changes, because a hug is not just a gesture, it is a message. In just a few seconds, it communicates something deep to her subconscious, something words can't reach. There are different kinds of hugs, and each one speaks in its own way. Some create distance, some feel empty, and one, the rare one, has the power to stay with her long after you've let go. That is the difference between being remembered and being forgotten. If things have ever felt like they didn't click with a woman, even when everything else seemed right, understand this. It's not because you lacked value. It's because no one ever showed you this layer of connection. Society taught you words, strategies, even confidence, but it skipped the foundation, the part where energy is felt instead of spoken. So take a moment and breathe, because from here, you start to see things differently. There is a core truth in female psychology. She feels first, and only later does she try to explain it. While you're thinking, analyzing, and trying to do the right thing, her body has already made a quiet decision based on instinct, not logic. Deep inside, her emotional system reacts before reason even begins, and a hug goes straight there, no filters, no overthinking. In just a few seconds of contact, her body is already asking questions she may not even be aware of. Does this man make me feel at ease? Is there strength in his presence? Does he feel grounded or uncertain? You can have humor, success, and intelligence, but if that moment feels off, it can override everything else. That's how powerful it is. So don't rush it and don't overlook it, because sometimes the smallest actions reveal the deepest truths. When you understand this, you stop trying to impress and you start learning how to make her feel something real, and that is what truly stays with her. Error number 1, the rushed hug. Error number 1, the rushed hug. This is where most men sabotage themselves without even realizing it, because on the surface it looks polite, it looks normal, but underneath, it quietly sends the wrong signal. You move in too quickly, almost like you're trying to get it over with, and then you pull away just as fast, as if the moment itself has no value. That is not connection. That is a transaction. And people feel the difference instantly. In the world of psychology tricks and female psychology, timing is everything. A hug is not just physical contact. It is a moment of emotional exchange, a silent conversation where your body speaks before your words ever do. When you rush it, you strip that moment of meaning. You turn something warm into something forgettable. You must understand this. Attraction is not built on speed. It is built on presence. It is built on the ability to slow down and let a moment breathe. When you rush, there is no breath. There is no space for emotion to rise. There is no signal of calm confidence. Instead, what she feels is hesitation disguised as politeness or discomfort disguised as efficiency. And her subconscious picks up on that immediately. Female psychology is incredibly sensitive to these subtle cues. She may not say it out loud, she may not even consciously think it, but her body will register it. He wasn't really here. And that feeling matters more than anything you say afterward. Think about it. A hug should feel like a pause in time, even if it lasts only a second or two. It should feel grounded, real, intentional. But when it's rushed, it feels like you're trying to escape the moment instead of step into it. That creates emotional distance, not closeness. And distance is the enemy of attraction. If you want to understand how to fall in love, or more importantly, how to create the conditions where love can grow, you have to respect these small moments. Love is not built in grand gestures alone. It is built in these tiny, almost invisible interactions. The way you greet her, the way you hold her for just a second longer, The way you allow silence to exist without rushing to fill it. That is where connection lives. That is where memory is formed. A rushed hug tells her you are either distracted, unsure, or simply not invested in the moment. And none of those signals create emotional pull. In fact, they do the opposite. They flatten the experience. They make it feel generic, replaceable, and no one wants to feel like just another routine interaction. You must be different. You must be intentional. Don't rush in like you're late for something. Be present like this moment matters. Because it does. In psychology tricks and female psychology, what stands out is not intensity alone. It is awareness. It is control. It is the ability to move with calm certainty instead of nervous speed. When you approach her, do it with ease. When you hug her, let it land. Not too long, not forced, but not rushed either. There is a rhythm to it, a natural flow. And when you find that rhythm, everything changes. She feels it. She responds to it. She remembers it. That is how to fall in love, not through words, not through effort alone, but through presence, through moments that feel real instead of rehearsed. So don't treat a hug like a checkbox. Don't treat it like a task to complete. That is where most men go wrong. They focus on the action, not the feeling behind it. But the feeling is everything. Always. Slow down. Be there. Let the moment exist for what it is. Because when you do, even something as simple as a hug becomes powerful, memorable, magnetic. And that is the difference between being someone she forgets and someone she feels. Error number 2, the overthinking hug. Error number 2, the overthinking hug. This is the silent killer of connection, the moment where everything could have flowed naturally, but didn't. You hesitate before going in. You calculate every angle like it's a chess move instead of a human moment. You ask yourself, should I hug her? Is this the right moment? What if she pulls away? And in that space, those few seconds of doubt, you lose something far more important than the hug itself. You lose presence. You lose timing. You lose the quiet confidence that defines a high-value man. By the time you finally act, the moment is already gone, like trying to catch a train that has already left the station. Don't do that. Don't turn a simple, human gesture into a mental battlefield. Be decisive. Be grounded. That is what allows you to attract women without forcing anything. Here's the truth most men overlook. A hug is not about technique. It's about energy. And masculine energy does not beg for permission through hesitation. It doesn't shrink back and wait for a perfect signal. It reads the moment, trusts itself, and moves with calm certainty. That is the difference. When you overthink, your body tightens. Your movements become unnatural. Your eyes give away your internal conflict. And she feels it instantly. Not because she's analyzing you consciously, but because her instincts are always reading emotional signals. Tension is loud, even in silence. And tension disrupts attraction faster than any mistake you could physically make. Don't hesitate. Don't stall. You must understand this. Confidence is not about being right every time. It's about being comfortable with your decision in the moment. Imagine this. You're standing with her. The conversation has a natural pause. There's a shared smile, a subtle connection in the air. That's your moment. Not 5 seconds later. Not after you've run it through 10 different scenarios in your head. Right there. A high-value man doesn't freeze in that moment. He moves naturally. He leans in with ease, not urgency. He hugs with intention, not doubt. And because of that, the hug feels right. It feels aligned. It feels effortless. That is how you attract women, through presence, not perfection. Now contrast that with overthinking. You delay. You hesitate. Your body starts sending mixed signals. One part of you wants to move forward, the other pulls back. That internal conflict leaks into your actions. Maybe you step in awkwardly. Maybe you half commit. Maybe you pull back too quickly. And suddenly, what could have been a warm, memorable moment becomes something forgettable, or even slightly uncomfortable. Not because you're lacking anything as a man, but because you disconnected from your natural rhythm. Don't disconnect from yourself. Be in the moment. That is where your masculine energy lives. Here's a simple truth you must carry with you. Attraction thrives in ease. It grows in spaces where things feel natural, not forced, not calculated. When you overthink, you create friction, and friction breaks flow. A high value man understands that not every moment needs to be perfect. Some hugs will be brief, some will be playful, some will be deeper. That's okay. What matters is that they are real, that they come from a place of calm certainty, that they reflect a man who is comfortable in his own skin. Be that man. Don't wait for the perfect signal. Learn to recognize the feeling of the moment instead. And here's where it gets even deeper. Overthinking is not really about the hug. It's about fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of misreading the situation. Fear of doing the wrong thing. But when you let fear control your actions, you shrink your presence. You limit your ability to connect. And you train yourself to doubt your instincts. That is a habit you must break. Not by forcing confidence, but by practicing trust in yourself. One moment at a time. One decision at a time. That is how masculine energy is built. Quietly, consistently, without noise. So the next time you feel that hesitation creeping in, pause, but not to think. Pause to feel. Ask yourself, does this moment feel right? Is there a natural connection here? If the answer is yes, then move. Smoothly, calmly, without overanalyzing. Because the window of authenticity is always brief. And those who act within it are the ones who leave a lasting impression. That is how a high-value man operates. Not rushed, not hesitant, just present. Remember this. You don't need perfect timing. You need real timing. You don't need flawless execution. You need honest intention. And when you align those two, presence and intention, you naturally attract women without trying to impress them. That is the power of staying grounded. That is the power of letting go of overthinking. So don't hesitate. Don't second guess. Be there. Be present. Be certain. That is enough. If this hit you, it's time to change the way you show up. Stop hesitating. Stop asking for silent permission. A man who attracts women moves with calm certainty, not overthinking. That is masculine energy in action. Like, comment below and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more real, practical wisdom. Comment this to lock it in your mind. I act with calm certainty. I don't overthink, I create the moment. Error number 3, the one-sided hug. Error number 3, the one-sided hug, and this is where many men quietly lose connection without ever realizing it. You initiate the hug, you step forward, you make the move, but you fail to feel her. She leans in, but you stay rigid. She softens, but you remain distant. You go through the motion, but you miss the moment. And here is the truth you must understand. Connection is never one-sided. Never. As Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. The same principle applies here. You must feel twice as much as you act. A hug is not a performance. It is not a technique. It is an exchange of energy. And if you are not tuned into that exchange, you are disconnected, even if your arms are around her. This is where old Stoic wisdom becomes practical. A grounded man does not force connection. He senses it. He adjusts. He aligns. That is Stoicism when in real life, not cold detachment, but controlled awareness. You must be present. You must be responsive. You must adapt. Because when you ignore her energy, something subtle breaks. The moment feels slightly off. Not wrong enough to call out, but not right enough to remember. And that is dangerous. Because attraction lives in those subtle moments. She may not say it. She may not even think it consciously, but she will feel it. And feelings decide everything. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. In this case, your power lies in your awareness, not in controlling her reaction, but in reading it, responding to it, matching it. If she leans in deeper, you soften. If she pulls back slightly, you release naturally. No tension, no confusion, just flow. This is what an iron mind looks like in action. Calm, observant, in control, but not controlling. And in modern life, where distractions are everywhere, where people are glued to their phones, where attention is rare, this level of presence is powerful. It stands out. It attracts. Most men rush. Most men act without awareness. But you don't. You slow down. You feel. You adjust. You connect. That is Stoicism win. That is how you build real attraction without saying a word. So stop treating the hug like a checkbox. Stop thinking leadership means rigidity. It doesn't. True strength is flexibility. True confidence is awareness. True presence is connection. Be the man who feels the moment. Be the man who responds to it. Be the man who turns a simple hug into something real, something natural, something unforgettable. Because when your energy and hers align, even for a second, that's where connection lives. And once you understand that, once you embody that, you're no longer guessing. You're leading with precision, with calm, with an iron mind grounded in old Stoic wisdom. Error number 4, the aggressive hug. Error number 4, the aggressive hug. The complete opposite, and just as damaging, just as telling, just as quietly destructive to the impression you're trying to create. You've seen it. Maybe you've even done it without realizing. The grip is too tight. The pull is too forceful. The moment stretches longer than it should. And sometimes the hands, they move in ways that don't match the situation. That is not masculine energy. Don't confuse pressure with presence. Don't mistake intensity for connection. That kind of hug doesn't say, I'm confident. It says, I'm unaware. And awareness, real awareness, is one of the core traits of a high-value man. A hug is not about control. It's about calibration. It's about reading the moment, feeling the rhythm, understanding the space between you and her. When you squeeze too hard, when you hold too long, when you cross that invisible line she hasn't invited you to cross, you break that rhythm. You interrupt the natural flow of connection. And in that instant, her body reacts before her mind even has time to explain it. She doesn't sit there and analyze your behavior step by step. She feels it. And what she feels is discomfort, not safety, not warmth, not curiosity, discomfort. Be clear about this. Attraction is fragile in its early stages. It's not built on grand gestures. It's built on subtle signals. A look, a tone, a pause, a touch. And when your touch feels overwhelming instead of grounded, it sends the wrong message. It creates a question in her mind. Does he understand boundaries? That question is quiet, but powerful. Because once it appears, it doesn't just sit there. It spreads. It influences how she sees everything else you do. And just like that, the attraction you were building begins to fade. You must understand, respect is not something you declare. It's something you demonstrate in small, almost invisible ways. The way you approach her, the way you position your body, the way you release the hug at the right moment, not a second too late. That is what a high-value man does. He doesn't rush. He doesn't overwhelm. He doesn't try to force a feeling. He allows it to develop naturally. That is real masculine energy. Calm, controlled, intentional. Now here's where many men get it wrong. They believe that being more physical, more intense, more forward will help them attract women faster. But the truth is the opposite. When your energy feels like too much, too soon, it doesn't create attraction, it creates distance. She pulls back. Maybe not physically in that exact moment, but emotionally. And emotional distance is much harder to close than physical space. Think about it this way. A hug should feel like an invitation, not a demand. It should say, I'm here, and I'm comfortable with myself. Not, I need to prove something. Because the moment you start trying to prove something, you lose the natural ease that makes you attractive in the first place. A high-value man doesn't prove. He expresses. He doesn't take space. He earns it. Be present. That is the key. Feel the moment. If she leans in slightly, meet her there gently. If her body stays reserved, respect that. Match her energy. That is how you build connection. That is how you attract women without saying a word. Because what she feels in that brief moment of physical contact will stay with her far longer than anything you could explain verbally. And let's go deeper for a second. When you ignore boundaries, even unintentionally, it signals a lack of emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is the backbone of masculine energy. Without it, everything becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability does not create attraction, it creates hesitation. A woman doesn't feel drawn to what she can't trust. And trust begins with the smallest actions, even something as simple as a hug. So don't rush. Don't overpower. Don't let your actions get ahead of the connection you've actually built. Be grounded. Be aware. Be intentional. That is how a high value man moves through the world. That is how he creates moments that feel natural, effortless, and real. And when you master that, you don't just attract women, you make them feel something they don't often experience: comfort, clarity, and calm confidence. And that is what stays in her mind long after the hug is over. If this hit you, don't ignore it. Attraction isn't about force, it's about awareness, respect, and control. Cross that line, and you lose everything in a second. Like the video, share it with someone who needs this, and subscribe for more real, no nonsense insight. Comment to remember: I respect her space, and that's what builds real attraction. Error number 5: the needy hug. Error number 5: the needy hug, and this one quietly ruins more moments than men realize because, on the surface, it looks harmless, even affectionate, but underneath, it carries a completely different message. You hold on just a little too long. Your arms linger not out of calm certainty, but out of a silent request, as if you're hoping she'll give you something back: reassurance, validation, attention. And here is the truth you must understand. Women are incredibly perceptive when it comes to emotional signals. This is basic female psychology, and she will feel that subtle pull instantly, not because she is analyzing it logically, but because her instincts pick it up before her mind even has time to process it. Don't assume she won't notice. Don't assume it's invisible, because it isn't. Neediness always leaks through the smallest behaviors, through the extra second you refuse to let go, through the slight tightening of your arms, through the energy that says, "Stay with me a little longer," instead of, "I'm already complete." And that is the key difference you must internalize if you truly want to understand these psychology tricks and how attraction actually works in real life, not in theory. Confidence gives, neediness takes. Confidence is relaxed, neediness clings. Confidence says, "I enjoy this moment," while neediness says, "I need this moment." And the moment your hug starts asking instead of offering, something shifts inside her, something subtle, but powerful, because attraction is not built on pressure, it is built on emotional freedom. When she feels even a hint that you are holding on to extract something from her, her system naturally pulls back to protect her space. That is not rejection, that is instinct, that is female psychology doing exactly what it is designed to do. So don't misinterpret the outcome. Understand the cause. Your energy defines the experience. As the philosopher Seneca once implied, true strength comes from within, not from what we try to take from others, and that applies here more than you think. You must be the man who brings energy into the interaction, not the man who tries to draw energy out of it, because a hug is not a negotiation. It is not a transaction. It is an expression, and expression only works when it flows freely, without hidden demands. So be clear with yourself. Are you hugging because you want to share a moment, or because you're hoping to feel better about yourself afterward? That is the question most men avoid, yet it defines everything. Don't rush past it, face it, because the answer will show up in your body language whether you admit it or not. And here's where most men get it wrong. They think being warm, being close, being physically present is enough, but presence without emotional independence creates pressure, and pressure quietly destroys attraction. If you truly want to understand how to fall in love in a healthy, grounded way, and more importantly, how to make a woman feel safe and drawn to you, you must remove the need from your touch, remove the hidden request, remove the silent. Please give me something back and replace it with calm certainty. Be the man who can hug fully, warmly, and then let go without hesitation, without looking for a reaction, without checking if it worked, because that is what real confidence looks like in action. It doesn't wait for approval. It doesn't measure itself through someone else's response. And when you operate from that place, something powerful happens. The hug becomes clean, simple, and genuine, and she feels it immediately. She feels that you are not there to take, You are there to share, and that creates comfort, that creates trust, that creates the kind of emotional space where attraction can actually grow. These are the real psychology tricks that most people overlook because they are not about techniques. They're about internal state, about who you are when no one is watching, about whether you are grounded in yourself or searching for something outside. So don't hold on too long. Don't linger out of uncertainty. Don't turn a simple moment into a subtle request for validation. Be present, be warm, be intentional, then release. That is power. That is clarity. That is the difference between a man who chases energy and a man who creates it. And if you want to truly master female psychology and understand how to fall in love in a way that builds attraction instead of slowly draining it, then remember this. The strongest connection is never built on need, it is built on freedom. And freedom begins the moment you stop trying to take and start choosing to give without expectation. Error number 6, the ghost hug. Error number 6, the ghost hug. This is the silent mistake most men never notice, yet it speaks louder than words ever could. You are there physically, your arms are around her, but your attention is somewhere else. Your eyes wander, your body stiffens, your breath shortens, and then, suddenly, you pull away as if the moment burned you. That is not connection. That is absence disguised as presence. And people always feel the difference. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. In that brief moment, she feels overlooked. Not because of what you did, but because of what you failed to give, your full attention. Understand this clearly. Attention is respect. Presence is power. When you hug a woman, you are not just performing a social gesture, you are communicating value, awareness, and emotional control. And if your mind is scattered, your body will betray you. This is where old Stoic wisdom comes in. The Stoics taught one simple but life-changing principle. Be where you are. Not halfway, not distracted, fully, completely. That is the foundation of an iron mind. That is what separates a man who moves with intention from one who drifts through moments without impact. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Notifications, thoughts, pressure, noise. But when you step into a moment with a woman, all of that must disappear. You must become still, grounded, present. Because presence is rare and rarity creates value. A ghost hug tells her, without a single word, that she is not the priority in that moment. And attraction cannot grow where attention is divided. So here is the instruction. Slow down. When you go in for the hug, commit to it. Feel the moment. Breathe naturally. Relax your body. Let your mind settle. Do not rush in and do not rush out. Stay just long enough to create warmth, not discomfort. That balance is everything. That is emotional intelligence in action. That is Stoicism win. You are not trying to impress her. You are not trying to perform. You are simply being present, and that alone sets you apart. Because most men are either hesitant or overwhelming, but very few are centered. Very few bring calm, grounded energy into a simple interaction like a hug. And that is your advantage. Repeat this to yourself. Be here. Be steady. Be aware. Again and again, until it becomes natural. Because an iron mind is built through repetition, through discipline, through conscious awareness of small actions. And small actions create lasting impressions. In modern life, where everything moves fast and attention is fragmented, the man who can slow down and truly connect stands out immediately. He does not need to say much. He does not need to prove anything. His presence speaks for him. And when you hug with presence, she feels it instantly. She feels safe. She feels seen. She feels valued. That is not luck. That is skill. That is awareness. That is old Stoic wisdom applied in real life. So stop going through the motions. Stop being physically there but mentally absent. Stop letting distractions steal moments that could build real connection. Instead, choose to show up fully. Choose to be intentional. Choose to master even the smallest interactions. Because mastery is not found in big gestures, it is found in the details. And when you get this right, When you eliminate the ghost hug and replace it with real presence, you don't just improve your interactions, you transform the way people experience you. That is Stoicism win. That is how you build quiet confidence. That is how you develop an iron mind that controls the moment instead of being controlled by it. If this hit you, don't ignore it. This is where most men quietly lose connection without even knowing why. Presence is power. Attention is respect. When you hug her, be there, fully, calmly, completely. No distractions. No rushing. No half-hearted energy. That's what she feels. Now prove to yourself you understand the difference. Comment this below. When I'm with her, I'm fully present. Say it. Own it. Live it. Error number 7, the forgettable hug. Error number 7, the forgettable hug. This one is the silent killer because it hides in plain sight. There's nothing obviously wrong with it, but there's nothing right about it either. It's the kind of hug that checks the box, fulfills the social script, and disappears the second it ends. No intention, no emotion, no presence. It's just there, and then it's gone. Like a handshake you don't even recall giving. And that's exactly the problem. Don't confuse acceptable with impactful. Don't assume that just because you didn't mess it up, you did it well. That is where most men lose without even realizing it. A forgettable hug comes from a forgettable state of mind. You're distracted. You're thinking about what to say next. You're running on autopilot. Your body is there, but your attention is scattered. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women don't remember average moments. They remember emotional imprints. They remember how you made them feel in that exact second. Not what you said 5 minutes later. Not what you wore. Just the feeling. And if your hug carries no feeling, it leaves no trace. It's like writing on water, gone before it even registers. Be clear about this. A high-value man does not move without intention. He does not touch without awareness. Every action, even something as simple as a hug, carries a quiet message. I am here. I am present. I see you. That is masculine energy at its core. Not loud, not forced, just grounded and real. When you hug her without that presence, she feels the absence immediately. She may not say it. She may not even consciously think it. But something inside her registers. That meant nothing. And when moments mean nothing, attraction slowly fades into neutrality. Don't rush through it. Don't treat it like a routine. Be in it. Feel it. That is what separates a man who simply exists from a man who knows how to attract women naturally. Because attraction is not built on perfection. It's built on emotional connection. And connection is impossible without presence. You must understand this deeply. A hug is not just physical contact. It's a transfer of energy. If your energy is flat, distracted, or closed, that's exactly what she receives. Think about the difference. One man hugs her like he's already thinking about leaving. Quick, mechanical, empty. Another man hugs her like the moment actually matters. Calm, centered, fully there. Same action. Completely different impact. One is forgotten instantly. The other lingers. That is the difference between average behavior and the behavior of a high-value man. And here's where most men get it wrong. They try to do more. They try to make the hug tighter, longer, more intense. That's not the solution. Don't overcompensate. Don't force emotion that isn't there. Be present instead. That is enough. That is everything. Presence turns a simple gesture into something meaningful. Presence is what gives masculine energy its quiet power. Without it, even the perfect hug feels empty. You must slow down internally. Not physically slow in an awkward way, but mentally grounded. When you step in with clarity. When you hold her with awareness. When you release, do it naturally, not abruptly like you're escaping the moment. That is where the magic lives. Not in technique, in intention, in feeling, in being fully there for those few seconds. A man who can do this stands out immediately, not because he's trying to impress, but because he's rare. Most people rush. Most people drift. Most people are half present in every interaction. So when you show up differently, when your masculine energy is steady and real, it creates contrast. And contrast is what makes people remember you. That's how you attract women without chasing, without forcing, without pretending. Let me make it simple. Don't be forgettable. Don't let your presence fade into the background. Be the man who leaves a subtle, positive imprint every time he interacts. That doesn't mean being dramatic. It means being real, being there, fully. Because in a world full of distractions, presence feels like power. And power, when expressed calmly, is deeply attractive. So next time you go in for a hug, don't just go through the motion. Pause internally. Center yourself. Feel the moment. Then act. That is the difference. That is what separates a routine interaction from a meaningful one. And that is how a high value man naturally attracts women, by bringing something most people forgot how to give: genuine presence. Error number 8, the weak hug. Error number 8, the weak hug, and whether you realize it or not, this single moment can quietly shape how a woman feels about you long after you've let go. You've either given this hug or received it, the kind where your arms barely make contact, your body keeps a safe distance, and the pressure is so light it almost feels like you're apologizing for being there. Sometimes it's reduced even further into that one-armed, half-committed side hug that people use when they don't know where they stand. And here's the truth you must understand. Don't underestimate small signals, because in female psychology, the smallest details often speak the loudest. That is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks when it comes to connection. When your body hesitates, when your arms don't fully engage, when your presence feels withdrawn, it doesn't just register as politeness, it registers as uncertainty. And uncertainty never creates attraction, it creates distance. You must realize that a woman may not consciously analyze the mechanics of your hug, but her subconscious is always observing, always interpreting, always asking one silent question: does this man feel sure of himself? And when the answer is no, even subtly, even unconsciously, something shifts, something closes. That moment becomes a quiet barrier instead of a bridge. Don't be the man who shows up halfway. Don't be the man whose touch feels like a question mark. Be the man whose presence feels clear, grounded, and intentional, because confidence is not loud, it is felt. And this is where many men misunderstand how to fall in love, or how to make a woman fall into that emotional space with them. They focus on words, on lines, on what to say next, but ignore the silent language of the body. Yet it is this silent language that often carries more weight than anything spoken. That is one of the most powerful psychology tricks you can learn. A weak hug tells her you are unsure. It tells her you are holding back. It tells her you are not fully stepping into the moment. And in female psychology, hesitation is rarely attractive because it signals emotional distance rather than emotional safety. Here's the deeper layer you need to understand. When a woman feels that you are not fully present, she cannot relax into the moment. She cannot open up. She cannot feel that subtle sense of connection that begins to build trust and curiosity. And without that, attraction struggles to grow. Don't confuse being gentle with being distant. Don't confuse being respectful with being withdrawn. There is a difference, a big one, and you must learn it if you want to understand how to fall in love in a way that feels real and lasting. Because love does not grow in hesitation. It grows in clarity, in presence, in emotional steadiness. And your hug, yes, something as simple as a hug, can either communicate that steadiness or completely undermine it. Imagine this for a moment. You greet her, you step in, but instead of fully embracing the moment, your body pulls back, your arms hover, your touch feels uncertain. What does that say without words? It says, I'm not sure. It says, I'm holding back. It says, I don't want to take up space. And that is not the message you want to send if you want to create attraction, because attraction often begins where certainty is felt, not where it is explained. Now contrast that with a man who understands these subtle psychology tricks, a man who steps in with calm confidence, not forceful, not overwhelming, but present, grounded, aware. His arms engage naturally, his body is aligned, his energy says, I'm here. And in that moment, something changes. The hug feels real, it feels intentional, it feels safe. And safety, real emotional safety, is one of the strongest foundations in female psychology when it comes to attraction and connection, because a woman is far more likely to open up to a man who feels steady than to one who feels uncertain. Don't rush the hug. Don't overthink it. But also don't shrink it. Be present in it, because presence is what transforms a simple gesture into a meaningful moment. And this is where many men miss the point when trying to learn how to fall in love or how to build attraction. They search for complicated strategies while ignoring the basics. Yet it is the basics, done with awareness and intention, that create the strongest impact. You must understand that every interaction is a message. Every touch is communication. Every small detail contributes to the overall feeling she experiences around you. And feelings are what she remembers, not the exact words you said, not the exact sequence of events, but the emotional imprint you leave behind. A weak hug leaves an imprint of uncertainty, of distance, of hesitation. And those are not the emotions that create lasting attraction. Be mindful. Be intentional. Be aware of your body language, because your body often speaks before you do, and in many cases, it speaks louder than your words ever could. Don't treat a hug as a formality. Treat it as an opportunity to communicate confidence without arrogance, warmth without neediness, presence without pressure. And when you begin to approach it this way, you'll start to see how these subtle shifts, these small, almost invisible adjustments, can completely change the dynamic between you and a woman. This is the quiet power of understanding psychology tricks. This is the depth of female psychology that most men overlook. And this is one of the keys to learning how to fall in love in a way that feels natural, grounded, and real. So remember this clearly. Don't give a half-hearted hug. Don't send mixed signals. Don't let your body betray your intention. Be aligned. Be present. Be certain. Because when your energy is clear, your actions will follow. And when your actions are aligned, she will feel it instantly, effortlessly, and most importantly, memorably. If this opened your eyes, don't just scroll past it. Take a second to lock this lesson in. A weak hug isn't just a small mistake. It quietly tells her everything about your confidence, your presence, your energy. And whether you realize it or not, she feels it instantly. So don't ignore this, use it. Step into your strength. Be certain. Be grounded. If you're ready to carry yourself with confidence and leave a lasting impression, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more real, practical wisdom. Now, drop this in the comments to remind yourself who you are becoming. I show up with confidence and strong presence. The real masculine hug. The real masculine hug is not an accident. It is a decision, and that decision reveals who you are before you even speak. Understand this clearly, because in modern life, where everything is rushed, distracted, and uncertain, your ability to create a moment of calm, grounded connection sets you apart immediately, and this is where old Stoic wisdom quietly steps in, reminding you that power is not loud, it is controlled, it is deliberate, it is felt without force. A man with an iron mind does not hesitate, he does not drift, he does not ask silently for permission through awkward pauses. Instead, he acts with calm certainty, because as Marcus Aurelius once said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In this moment, you must be that man, not think about being him. When you go in for the hug, do not linger in doubt. Do not overcalculate. You step in with intention, your feet grounded, stable, connected to the earth as if nothing can shake you, because physical stability sends a message deeper than words ever could. It tells her, this man is steady, this man is safe, this man knows himself. Your hands are placed with purpose, one between her shoulder blades, the other resting naturally at the center of her back, not wandering, not uncertain, but exact, controlled, respectful, and present. Your chest aligns with hers, not leaning awkwardly, not holding back, because hesitation breaks the moment and pressure is consistent, not crushing, not loose, but firm enough to communicate presence. Here is where most men fail, not in the mechanics, but in the feeling, because they forget to breathe. Do not make that mistake. You must breathe, slow, steady, calm, because your breath is the anchor of the entire interaction, and when you are relaxed, truly relaxed, not pretending, that calmness transfers to her. It settles her body, it lowers tension, it creates connection without effort. This is not theory, this is human psychology, this is Stoicism when in action, where control over yourself creates influence over the moment. Remember this, your state becomes her experience. If you are tense, she feels tension. If you are calm, she feels ease, and the difference is everything. Timing matters. Do not rush it like a nervous gesture, but do not drag it into discomfort either. 2 to 4 seconds, that is your window. Just enough for her to register your presence, just enough for her to feel the intention behind it, just enough for her to think, even if only subconsciously, this man knows what he is doing, and knowing what you are doing is rare today. That alone separates you. Then comes the part most men completely ignore, the ending. Understand this clearly. The way you end the hug is just as powerful as the way you begin it, because the ending is what lingers in her memory. It is the final note of the experience, and you must control it, you must lead it. You do not wait for her to pull away. You release calmly, smoothly, maybe letting your hands slide naturally down her arms as you step back, creating a soft transition instead of an abrupt break, and then you hold eye contact, not intensely, not aggressively, but with quiet confidence, paired with a relaxed smile that says everything without saying anything. This is how a man with an iron mind operates. He does not rush, he does not fidget, he does not overdo. He executes cleanly, simply, effectively. In a world where distractions dominate and attention is scattered, this level of presence feels rare, almost magnetic, because as Seneca taught, he who is brave is free. Bravery here is not loud, it is the courage to be fully present, fully intentional, without hiding behind hesitation. You must understand, this is not about impressing, it is about expressing. It is not about technique alone, it is about the state behind the technique, and that state comes from discipline, from awareness, from practicing control over your thoughts and actions every day, because Stoicism win is not a slogan, it is a way of living, and every small interaction becomes a reflection of that discipline. Do not underestimate the power of such a simple moment, because in that brief hug, you communicate leadership, calmness, awareness, and self-respect, and those qualities are felt instantly, without explanation, without words. And that is why old Stoic wisdom remains timeless. It teaches you that mastery begins within, and when you master your internal state, even the smallest external actions carry weight. So next time, do not rush, do not hesitate, do not drift. Be grounded, be intentional, be calm. Lead the moment from start to finish, because that is what sets you apart, that is what creates impact. That is what defines a man who moves through life with quiet certainty and unshakable presence.